This is the GAS GTR1, a modern interpretation of what the Ford GT40 could be if it were made in the 2000s. And before we go deeper into the GTR1, who is GAS? Well, Galpin Auto Sports is an American custom car and automotive repair shop based in LA. The shop was founded in 1946 by Frank Galpin and was later purchased by Bert Boeckmann. They specialize in customizing and remodeling vehicles for their drivers, providing specialty parts and accessories. If the name seems familiar, GAS has been featured on MTV's Pimp My Ride for the 5th and 6th season. And they also worked on the 2008 to 2009 television show Knight Rider to create a new KITT, a version of the 2008 Ford Mustang called the GT500 KR. In other words, these guys know their way around cars. Anyways, back to the car. In 2013, Galpin Auto Sports, based in California, unveiled their most extreme version of the Ford GT, the GTR1, with a decade passing since the release of the first generation Ford GT. You see, back when Ford created the GT, their idea was to create a modern, street-legal version of their thoroughbred race car, the GT40. The GT40 was originally developed to compete with Ferrari in the 1960s, beating the prancing horse in the 24 Hours of Le Mans on 4 consecutive occasions from 1966 to 1969. And if you don't know how legendary this whole ordeal was, there's a movie about it. Go and watch Ford v Ferrari when you have the time. Anyways, the modern iteration of the Ford GT was introduced in the early 2000s, and while it was expensive, it was more attainable than the genuine GT40 and looked similar to the 1960s original. Now, after Ford ended production of their first generation GT, GAS started developing a new car that showcased what they thought the GT would have become if the project had continued. The GTR1 prototype was unveiled at Pebble Beach Contours d'Elegance. It was based on the first gen GT's chassis and had received minor modifications, but had a completely new body design, in-house by GAS and hand-built by the concept car experts at Metal Crafters. The all-aluminium structure departed from the Ford GT-inspired theme, offered a modern interpretation of the iconic shape by combining ample curves and sharp edges. But they didn't stop with the looks. The car also got a rapid power plant. The car was equipped with a modified version of the Ford GT's 5.4-litre 4-valve modular V8 engine. But it was tuned to produce nearly twice as much power. How did they make all of this extra power? Well, they took the stock Eaton 2300 supercharger, threw it out and replaced them with a pair of 61mm turbochargers, which helped the coach-built supercar hit 1024 horsepower and 739 foot-pounds of torque on pump gas. This means that if you throw race gas in this car, there's even more left on the table. On the right fuel, the engine could churn out 1200 horsepower and 887 foot-pounds of torque. In other words, it was a little bit of a monster. Now, Galpin Auto Sports claimed that the GTR1 could accelerate from 0 to 60 in a little over 3 seconds and could reach a top speed of 225 miles per hour. But all of that power means nothing if you can't bring it to a stop. Stopping power is ensured by a set of special brakes with 6-piston calipers and full carbon rotors. The Galpin Ford GTR1 was produced from 2013 to 2016, and it is available with either a full aluminium or carbon fiber body for a price that exceeded over $1 million. But official production figures were never released, so we don't know how many units were ever made. But initially, they planned to produce only 24 units, and I know that 6 were definitely made. While the exterior design of the GTR1 left room for debate, the car was well built and unquestionably cool. The GTR1 was the ultimate Ford GT, surpassing all previous iterations, including the GT40 in terms of power, braking, weight and performance. But let me know, would you pay $1 million for one of these? Keeping in mind you can buy a 2005 Ford GT, normal Ford GT, for around $400,000 to $800,000, so cheaper than one of these. I'm not even going to go and talk about the Ford GT40 because the original 1966 Ford GT40, they go for around $10 million, so they stupidly expensive. They are cool, but like 10 mil for a car, that's a bit crazy. So would you rather pay $1 million for this Galpin thing, or would you take for $500,000 and buy a Ford GT? I personally would just buy a Ford GT. I think it's much prettier, and yes, it makes less power, but power isn't the answer to everything. It almost is, but in this case, I'd rather take the less power, cheaper, prettier car. yeah, let me know down below what you think. If you like this video, please have a like and subscribe to the channel. And if you did like it, you'll like all of my other stuff. So just go through my channel, see if there's something else you like. I'll check you guys in the next one. Cheers,